Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Squared Circle podcast. Andy here, coming to you from a very hot, very sticky, very un-British Weymouth in Dorset, accompanied this week, as always, by Stefan the Hitman Bennett. Don't know where that's come from, but still in an equally hot and sticky Kent. And our guest for this week is the owner of Pro Wrestle Dorset, effectively my boss, as I've maybe mentioned this one or two times, head commentator for Pro Wrestling Dorset, plus the executive in charge of marketing. It is Samuel Mellows, also from a hot and sticky Weymouth in Dorset. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Sam?
I'm doing good. If I went even closer to the camera, you'll see my left eye is quite done in by the good old hay fever. It looks like I've gone 12 rounds with hay fever Tyson and lost. But yeah, no, good old bit of Pyrenees and all that lot.
I was going to raise you one better, Sam. I was going to say you look like Jim Ross on Collision. But maybe not. We'll touch more on that.
Too soon.
No, it's not too soon. We're going to be talking about it in about 10 minutes' time. Yeah. So it can't be too soon.
I was going to go for more for the Captain Lou in my shirt.
What the heck are you wearing?
You're missing your rubber band, Randy, in your ear.
Yeah. But evening, everyone. Listeners, always glad to be on the show.
I'll tell you what we'll do. Next time the three of us do a show, we'll do dress-up cosplay.
Easily, happily.
We'll see who can come out as the best Hulk Hogan or
what?
Yeah. That's something nice. Right, coming up this week on the show. I was off last week. Thanks, Stefan, for running the show.
That's all right. I'm all right, by the way, everyone.
Oh, yeah, Stefan, how are you?
I'm all right. No, I'm all right. Yeah, not bad. Thank you. Yeah, too hot. It's just too hot. It's just insane.
Stefan's okay. We're all just very, very hot. And I don't want to see another sausage for a very long time.
What? This is a family show, you know.
Yeah. I was running a barbecue at a sports day for 3 hours in this heat.
So it didn't contribute to your absence last week, was you weren't too busy looking at sausages?
I was obviously making sure they were all okay, and doing quality control on them, making sure they had enough meat content in them.
Oh, I bet you did. Anyway.
Yeah. This is worse than the Terry Funk being spit roasting comment from back.
Anyway, wrestling. Wrestling.
Moving on.
Coming up this week on the show, we've got all of the normal good stuff. We're going to be kicking off with top 5 in just a second. We're going to go to what is, I think, possibly the weirdest card to preview in wrestling history, because Forbidden Door takes place this Sunday. As of bell time, as of right now, there is only 4 matches announced, and even one of them is in contention because MJF says he's not going to appear. Stefan is going to be doing a Sam is going to be doing a Who Am I? Challenging both me and Stefan. That should be fun. We're going to round up the show with TSC Top Picks, which is going to be interesting. I don't quite know how this is going to land this week. It's going to be very interesting. In the ad break, Stefan will be back with a special story time, taking us back to 2002.
Yeah, and 2001, because it was the SmackDown before Survivor Series 2001. And I just want to give a shout out to our good friend Mike Maguire, who runs that awesome podcast, Wrestling with Mike Maguire, for the message he sent me regarding my story time last week with the Vince McMahon NWO one. He turned around and said to me about he wondered if I was going to do the Vince McMahon cry in the story time. He said the entire time I was anticipating when he did the cry, and I did, and he loved it. So thanks, Mike.
I wondered if I needed to send you some help. It was quite disturbing.
I wanted to make it a little bit more as true to the thing as I could.
Well,
it was very Ian McKellen Macbeth. Should we say?
Sam, that's easy for you to say, isn't it?
I'll take that. I love Sir Ian McKellen. I think he's one of the best actors of all time.
That is, yeah, okay. Right. Don't know where we're going with this. I will just say, for those of you who want to listen to that podcast, it's Maguire on Wrestling, available on all main podcast providers, including Apple and Spotify. And you can listen for a taster of what Maguire on Wrestling is like on our podcast feed, as we brought you the Jacques Rougeau interview that Mike did. And this week, you can tell I've had a week off because, Mike, I've remembered your name.
And Mike has a special announcement on his show this coming week as well. If anyone wants to go check that out.
Yeah, check it out at the end of the show. In fact, all of this week, Mike will be dropping hints as to a bit more details about what that announcement is over on his socials, which is Maguire On, and that's on Facebook, Twitter, and of course the old Insta. Now, if you want to join us on social media, you can do. It's very straightforward. All you need to do is go to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. No, I said TikTok, but we're not on TikTok. And go to TSC Wrestling Podcast. It's good that I can remember this. Or you can go to Twitter at TSC Wrestling Pod. That's it. That's all the socials.
Straightforward.
And I've done no imitations this week. I've done no impressions. I was going to turn around and say that the votes of the TSC Parliamentary Committee are now in, and one of us has been kicked out for life with no access anymore to a parliamentary lobby. But those in America wouldn't understand that that's Boris Johnson has finally got his comeuppance. The liar is out.
You're fired.
Thank you, Sam, because I really wanted to get the sound effect for that, but we couldn't play it. Right. Let's do it. Let's get to top 5, which is very heavy about a certain person. We'll find out more in a sec. See you after this. All right, so we're kicking it off. That's the first time I've seen my new intros that I've done. They are quite loud in my ear.
Are we doing Newsline or are we doing Power Rangers?
What's wrong with the music? There was nothing.
I love it.
It was awesome.
I love it.
It's
I love
like
it.
Power Rangers meets Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I loved it.
Oh, don't.
Takes me back to my childhood.
What did you think of the new intro music, though?
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Very 80s. All right. So, last Saturday night was the debut of a new show that took place on TNT, and it was called All Elite Wrestling Collision, featuring the return of somebody called CM Punk.
Who? Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's a professional wrestler. He last had a match in September of 2022 at a pay-per-view event called All Out. Then there was some sort of backstage fight. I've not heard anything about it.
No, never heard anything about it at all. Don't know who was involved.
And he's
I hear it was a bit biting.
Ooh, it was a bit chewy, I think.
Yeah.
But
ace up the sleeve.
I heard there was more than one dog let off the leash in that backstage segment.
The big boss man came back and said he wanted to do his dog kennel match one more time.
Yeah.
Anyway, God help me. It was noted by Fightful Select that CM Punk didn't do any other interviews ahead of Collision besides the piece on ESPN, and that was the outlet that AEW wanted. Now, that's interesting to me to start with, and the reason for that is WWE and ESPN have got a very close working relationship and have had done for a number of years. So there was even talk quite recently about them pitching to do a WWE TV show for ESPN. So the fact that All Elite wanted it to be on ESPN again is interesting. Hangman and AEW executive vice presidents of the Elite were told the interview was coming last weekend. Word came out earlier that the interview would upset a lot of people in AEW, but since it dropped on Saturday afternoon, many have said the interview didn't seem nearly as bad as indicated. It was noted that several on the AEW roster pointed out that unlike many of the others involved in the situation, Punk doesn't have restrictions on being able to talk about his experiences, and it still goes out of his way to not talk about Punk as to stir anything up. So, while it was noted, the ESPN piece, that the backstage issues will not be turned into an angle, this is professional wrestling, so the famous words of never say never do certainly come into play. But what did the interview actually say? I mean, that's the key thing. If you haven't read this yet, we will put a link to the interview in the chat on the narrative of both the podcast and this as well. What's interesting to note, and I don't know if any of you two picked this up, the interview was put in the WWE section of ESPN, not AEW,
Yep. Yep. Caught that straight away.
which was quite interesting.
That was me. That made me laugh. And,
How much does that cost Tony Khan? Oh, sorry.
I
Anyway.
could just imagine the legions upon legions of internet marks, and I think that literally went mental and started their own conspiracy theories on that bit of detail. You could just imagine, can't you? CM Punk's not going to debut at a Collision. It's all the work by Tony Khan to get people tuning. I reckon he's already signed back with WWE and all that. I guarantee there were people that actually.
Oh yeah, of course there were.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, honestly, they said it like that.
There was a lot of comments underneath WWE YouTube videos saying, "Oh, very interesting. This is happening. Very interesting. That's happening." Especially with like Killian Cross, all of these different things, and it was saying about the fact that CM Punk's going to come back. And it got to the point where some videos actually had their comments like turned off on the WWE things because so many things with CM Punk. That's a sign.
I don't think WWE would be stupid enough to bring CM Punk back. I mean,
no, I don't think I would.
We're gonna talk about Collision in a moment, but there's a couple of bits that really took me as being quite interesting in this ESPN article, right? And a minute ago, I just said there was no way of this was going to be turned into a backstage angle, right? That's what they said. However, the first paragraph of this interview reads, "I know pro wrestling is absolutely the most bizarre form of entertainment on earth, but to me, I treat it like a business and I treat it like the television show that it is. So you'll haven't seen me since I won the belt. I'm coming back. Tune in to find out exactly what I have to say. I'm picking up right where I left off." Now, Collision will premiere on ITV4 tomorrow night, so spoilers are coming up now if you haven't seen it. Punk walks to the ring on Collision with a red bag that is quite clearly the AEW Championship and is quite clearly setting up a champion versus champion unification match.
Potentially, yeah.
Well, that's it's. I think it's. I think
I'm starting to wonder if that's what we're getting at Wembley.
No, I still think we're getting Adam Cole.
I hope so. I really hope that's the case. The thing is, who's going to walk in as Adam Cole's opponent? That's the thing, because there's a lot of stuff all over social media, the internet, regarding how a lot of AEW fans, even though they love MJF and everything he does, that his title run is going very stale. And I kind of see their point to an extent. But I just, I'm not convinced he's going to drop it yet.
I don't think you can turn. I mean, Sam, we'll come to what you think in a second, but I don't think you can turn around and say his title defense is coming stale. I think they've been very clever in how they've booked MJF, because the one thing that you don't want to do, and I think this is where the Seth Rollins issue is coming into on WWE, is to have the championship defended every single week, right? Or to have an open challenge. Sam disagrees. We'll get to Sam's point in a minute. I think if you look at last week's Dynamite, that championship eliminator, which I've now worked out the relevance of them, right? Because they were never explained. These title, when the champion would go up against the soon-to-be potential number one contender, they never explained the fact that if they beat the champion, they got a title shot. Except for this last Wednesday, which made it all the more impactful. It's the fact that MJF is going up against the right talent at the right time, and Adam Cole was that right opponent for MJF. And you're going to get a 5-star match out of these two, not only promo-wise, but also in-ring action. The same was for Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley reinvented himself with that AEW World Championship. Now, whether or not you thought that title run was good or bad, those eliminator matches that he had week in and week out gave him relevance. And I think MJF is a different breed. MJF is a talker. He's an old school, classic heel with a microphone who doesn't need to get in the ring. This is old school 80s booking in terms of the AEW World Champion. And I, for one, love it. Because whenever you get the devil in the ring, you are hooked.
It reminds me a bit of JBL's run as WWE champion. You remember he used to always try and get out of defending his title, or he would always have someone like the Basham brothers or Orlando Jordan or someone, if he was forced to defend the title, he would always make sure that they got involved, so he had to do minimal stuff. And it was only really pay-per-views that he would really have proper title defenses. And a lot of the other stuff was talking on the mic. I see similarities between what they're doing with MJF and what JBL kind of did. It's one of those types of heel champions,
which isn't a bad thing.
It's not.
I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Sam, your face, for those who are watching it on YouTube, went completely sour on that previous comment. What is your point? What do you think about MJF?
MJF and Seth Rollins, both of them. Like, I personally love that Seth Rollins is doing these open challenges. I with a group of friends I have, we do a WhatsApp group, because we've been linked to a previous podcast and stuff like that. And we discuss about wrestling all the time. And
one of those people works for Pro Wrestle Dorset.
Yeah,
was on this show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So we discussed about it, and all of them don't like the idea that he's doing open challenges all the time. For me, I think it shows how strong and how brilliant Seth Rollins is. But then you go to the completely opposite end, and you got the god, the devil that is MJF, who I think is brilliant because he's holding that championship at hostage in a way. He's doing his matches when he likes. He's sitting there going, "I'm not going to turn up at Forbidden Door. No, I'm not going to do that." Or saying, he said in interviews before that he's like, "I'm not turning up to England. Why am I going to waste my breath for those scum? Why am I going to do that?" He has got the charisma of Ric Flair. He's got the mic work of Dusty Rhodes, and has got the in-ring talent and power of Harley Race and Rowdy Piper and Mr. Perfect. All of those five guys rolled into one makes MJF. That's why for me, screw Baron Corbin, he is the modern day wrestling god.
You've got to say, though, to be fair, like you got to love a rebellious heel champion.
Yeah,
the one that just doesn't care about what the authority figures, the powers that be say. It's like, I'm not doing it unless this comes into it. Which MJF, we all knows. The amount of times where he turned around and said, "Oh, when my contract expires, I'm going to go wherever offers me the most money," and stuff like that. It's like the persona of kind of like, I work here and I'm worth every penny and more, and I'm an asset wherever I go, and wherever I go, I feel is the premier wrestling company. So when he keeps teasing and talking about, and he brings up Vince McMahon a lot, and he always references WWE all the time and everything. I love that side of things, because it does, even though people say, "Oh, it's a work," it's still good to have that guy, your top guy, turning around saying, "Look, I'm only here for now." And that, so if you want to keep me here and me keep bringing you the money and putting bums in seats and everything, you're going to have to keep me happy and keep paying me top dollar. Otherwise, Vince, I'm pretty sure whoever's running WWE is going to, Triple H or whoever's going to make me a lucrative offer. I might go there.
Yeah, but this is just WCW 1996. This is all this is,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
And WWF 1996. This is the Hulkster and the Nacho Man and Scheme Gene and Billionaire Ted. This is exactly what Vince McMahon did to Eric Bischoff and Ted Turner, and Tony Khan's doing the same thing, and I love it.
But here's one for you. So, me and Stefan did the show just after Mania, and I made my prediction / spoiler for the Royal Rumble next year about Shayna Baszler winning. I'm still sticking to that. I said other spoilers when I've been on the other shows. I'm going to put one for you. When MJF retires, when many, many, many years down the line, he is going to be that day and age's William Regal. That is not a prediction. That is a spoiler. He's got that whole sliding in the brass knuckles situation. He's got all of that. How William Regal does it and has always done it. That's how it reminds me. Like he could be the leader of the Blackpool Combat Club, but in 2084.
I think
You know what I mean?
2084.
If AEW is still running in 2084, or if I'm still doing this in 2084, then shoot me.
Goldberg might finally have his retirement match in at WrestleMania 237.
Pearly Gates Mania. Oh, sorry.
Possibly. I think it's an interesting conversation, and it's definitely one that kind of puts it on the burner. But I don't know.
We could do a whole show just on MJF alone.
We could do, because
Probably.
the devil is brilliant. I just want to go back to one point that you made earlier on in this. Baron Corbin is not a wrestling god.
No.
He's a wrestling jerk. In real life. Right, let's move on. So, CM Punk continues throughout this show. This whole news line is kind of sponsored by CM Punk, I think. Collision took place this past Saturday, and you are getting to see it tomorrow night on ITV4. We've seen it. We've seen Collision. He was asked about Collision in this interview, and he's put, with more TV time, you're only going to see guys like Hobbs and Starks, people who I think have the potential to do what an MJF has done with his TV time, but they haven't been able to be positioned because a guy like MJF gets a big lion's share of TV time because he earned it. We just need to do a better job of spotlighting so many different guys, and this is, for a lot of guys, sink or swim. Now it's just like, well, now's the time. You're going to have to really bust your ass and prove why we're giving you this spotlight. He then went on to comment about the fact that people are saying he is the head of Collision. If I'm the poster boy, top guy, whatever, this is what people dream about. You get put in a position like this, and you can't take the negative criticism. Personally, I look at it as a challenge. Collision.
Tell him when he's lying, though.
Sorry?
Tell Punk when he's lying. Tell him when he's lying.
I sent something to you, Andy, that I kind of twisted the words of his lyrics. Look in my eyes. What do you see? A cult of controversy.
Definitely did that, didn't he?
But for me, it's like he's one part of that is saying about how he's almost like that he's in charge and he's picking who's going to be on the shows and stuff like that, and he's the booker, all stuff like that. And then next second is saying, "But yes, I'm the top dog." Like, is that not controversy? But what did Eric Bischoff say?
Controversy creates cash.
Well, in fairness, Eric Bischoff is very critical about AEW at the moment. If you listen to the 83 Weeks podcast, very, very critical. I want to look at Collision, though, in a little bit more detail. And we're kind of going off topic slightly, but it all kind of links in. What were the thoughts of Collision? What did we think? Because
I really enjoyed it.
Okay, I was just going to say, because I think everything about Collision was great. The set looked looked organic. It looked interesting. I like the fact that they mixed in some of the Dynamite roster with guys that we haven't seen before. It was very refreshing not having Jericho or the BCC.
I enjoyed that episode of Collision, the debut episode of Collision, more than most episodes of Dynamite.
Wow, I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
Wow.
I like it. Just enjoy. And I think a lot of it goes down to the commentary. Was brilliantly done. The commentary was on point. I loved the commentary. I thought it was a big improvement. I love JR. Loved everything he's done in the past, but I think now's the time to step away.
Hang up the Stetson.
I think but I think that's unfair on Jim Ross. I mean,
it's not unfair on Jim Ross.
Jim Ross had a fall earlier in the day and obviously was affected quite badly.
No, that's not what I'm not alluding to what happened to him on that. I'm talking about his the last year or two of his work. I don't feel JR brings the passion and the drama in his storytelling like he once did. I used to love his storytelling when he was in WWE, especially when it was, important main events and things like that. Like we look back at WrestleMania, was it 28 with the Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Triple H with Shawn Michaels as the referee. I mean, that was literally grade A storytelling on masterclass from JR. That was JR at his best. And I just think over the last year or two, he's not as good as he once was. I don't feel that he has a really good chemistry with like Excalibur and that. For me, I just think it's time for him to maybe step away from commentary and do something.
But I think
else.
that's very difficult for someone like JR to get. And I'm not trying to knock your point. I'm really not. But I think that's difficult for someone like JR, who is now been relegated to a main event player. That's it, right? He's not on Dynamite. He doesn't call Dynamite anymore. He maybe calls Rampage. He was only going to be used for the main event on Collision. That's now not happening. JR's taking time away, and he's only out to call maybe 1 or 2 matches on a pay-per-view. The commentary team now is not Jim Ross.
No.
Jim Ross is past it. He's passed that baton over to guys like Excalibur, to Tony Schiavone, who never needed the baton in the first place, to the new Collision commentary team of Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness.
Which was brilliant. Yeah.
Well, I thought Nigel McGuinness was rusty.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was good.
I wouldn't say he wasn't good. He wasn't good. I think he was good. Was it anywhere near his best? Absolutely not. But we know what Nigel McGuinness can bring, which is why I think, going forward, him and Kevin Kelly will be a fantastic team.
But McGuinness has been much better on Ring of Honor TV.
Yeah.
Since he debuted in the company, working alongside Ian Caprice Coleman and Ian, whatever his name is.
Yeah, but he hasn't been doing it for a little while, though, has he? He stepped away, didn't he?
No, he's been doing Ring of Honor up until last week.
Yeah, he only missed 1 week because he was in a certain country doing some certain things in Yeovil and that lot.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because it's a new duo and they need to find their chemistry and their rhythm together. Maybe
it's interesting to say that because we got the rumours going around that a certain former UFC and WWE and NXT commentator is going to be there.
You're talking about Mauro Ranallo.
Ranallo, I love Ranallo.
I haven't heard
Ranallo.
I'll send you the link. There's an interesting thing. I'll try and send it to you later on. But the thing is, the thing for me, the Collision for me, very, very, very good and great. I was saying this to you, Andy, and I said it to someone else as well. Is this the death of Rampage? Because I feel you can't have 3 shows, and you got to pick. Do you have Rampage that's been going a bit flat, or do you go to Collision? And I feel like if you have a Friday night and a Saturday night, it kind of poo-poos, let's say, the most politest way on a family show, on like 2 things. So, but the all-round show, fantastic. The commentary for me, I agree. I felt Paddy McGuinness, Nigel McGuinness was slightly flat, and I just feel what could have been incredible in form of if you had 10 out of 10 for the show, 10 out of 10 for commentary, 10 out of 10 for the staging, and all stuff like that. We would have had a 10 class show. All I'm going to do as a pre-warning is the fact when we do our top 5 later on, Collision isn't to do with any of that, and it should have been.
Yeah, but I think Rampage just isn't usually a very good show anyway. I mean, it has it's either a very good show or it's forgettable. And I disagree when you say that you can't have 3 shows. You can, because the talent pool in AEW is so stagnant, so huge that they probably could. But if you think about how long Rampage has been around and you've just debuted Collision, Rampage is still going to be show number 3, essentially. It's going to be the weakest show. And that's down to Tony Khan to turn around and say, right, we can either do something more with Rampage or as you say, get rid of it.
Let's put it frankly. Rampage is superstars.
Yeah.
Rampage is main event, right? They need them. But I think what you're going to find with Rampage is they're going to do what they did a couple of weeks ago with Championship Friday, and it's going to be very themed. There's going to be, you're going to have the Owen Hart tournament on Rampage. That's going to be its hook. That's going to be the appeal of it. The other thing, sorry, Sam, the other thing to kind of point out, though, is they don't have 3 shows. They have 4.
5.
Was that AEW Dark, isn't there?
No, that's gone.
That's gone. Right.
Dark and Dark Elevation have been axed. They've been axed for about 2 months now because of Collision coming.
Right.
They are on Wednesday nights on Dynamite, Thursday nights on Honor Club with Ring of Honor, Friday nights on Rampage, and Saturday night on Collision. Now, you can argue that Ring of Honor is not all elite, but they are using some of the same guys. So effectively, it's all elite, but in a different name, right? So you are actually looking at 2, 4, 6. You've got 7 hours worth of All Elite TV in 4-day window. You've then, once every 2 or 3 months, got a 3-hour pay-per-view. Or in August, you've got All In, and the following week, All Out.
And then after that, you got Shake All About.
It's wrestling okey cokey, isn't it?
Yeah, you turn it all around. But
yeah.
That's what
think
it's all about.
Oh, Christ.
I was just going to say, the name Collision, though, I mean, you probably disagree. I mean, I don't know if it would work. I mean, you could probably have Dynamite and Ring of Honor and have their own rosters, and Collision be a show where you use both AEW and Ring of Honor superstars on Collision, because it goes with the name. It's like a colliding of the two brands, essentially.
Quite probably, quite possibly,
Yeah.
and I think that's an idea down the line. But even though Tony Khan is quite adamantly said there's not going to be any hard split, I can see a hard split coming.
They're going to have to. They'll get to a point. He's either going to have to release a lot of talent, or there's going to have to be a split.
But what
that's what I was going to ask was, what do you not think that it's going to come to the point where you've got, if you had it as 3 rosters, you have your Dynamite, you have your Collision, and you've got your Ring of Honor, but you've still got such a vast. The amount of times you see this person is all elite, this person is all elite, this person is all elite, and you think to yourself, how soon is it going to say this person is featured endeavoured?
Well, he's promised he wouldn't be releasing talent because of that, but you've got to do it at some point. I mean, Daddy's only got so much money in the bank, but if you look at Collision, I'm being serious.
It's true though, yeah.
He's not wrong. Yeah, Andy's not wrong.
No one's got unlimited pockets, right? You know, I've only got so much money. I couldn't afford to own All Elite.
I mean, come off it. I mean, Daddy can't even afford to put a decent Fulham team together, let alone continue to fund his son's wrestling.
Don't know about that.
Wrestling, or a Jaguars.
Yeah, don't know about that either. I talk wrestling. A proper sport, not like this football in American football crap. I talk wrestling.
And Star Trek.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I used to do a podcast on it.
Oh, God.
Live long and prosper. Going back to Collision though, I forgot where I was going to go with this. Oh, I do. One of the thing is, by seeing the talent that they haven't used in a long time, such as Buddy Matthews and, Andrade El Idolo, or as the ring announcer called him, Buddy Murphy, was an incredible 5-star match.
I would have just called him Rhea Ripley's real puppy. That's how I would have announced him.
Well, if you looked at the signs in the audience, it was like, you may have Rhea, but Dom's her mummy, which I thought was a classic sign. But it was a cracking match, wasn't it? And then you got Miro coming back and Miro doing a 3 or a 4-star match. We're seeing guys that we haven't seen in such a long time, and that, I think, is what made Collision work. The interesting thing is what they're going to do in July. You might ask me why.
Why, Andy?
Why, Andy? Please enlighten us.
I set these queue lines up. I've got 2 people to do the show with. It shouldn't be that hard to set them up and they hit them out. Doesn't matter. I've got 2 people. Somebody could have done it. Because Kevin Kelly is going back to New Japan. Kelly is going back to New Japan from mid-July to mid-August for the G1 tournament. So, who do you put in his place? Because you've got to consider the fact that they've launched this show now. It's only a couple of weeks until we hit July or mid-July. They only have just got themselves established. So who do you put in the mix?
Me.
Excalibur? Excalibur?
Me.
Who do you put in the mix? Schiavone?
Me.
Excalibur?
This guy!
No.
So seriously, who do you put in the mix? Schiavone? Excalibur? Taz?
Dustin Rhodes?
Oh, God, no.
Why not?
Oh,
because that guy has got
Mark Henry. Him or Big Show. So there you go. I'd rather Dustin Rhodes.
Dustin Rhodes has about as much charisma as a wasp that I saw.
Oh, how dare you! How dare you besmirch the golden one? The natural. How dare you?
Right. And the only amount of talent that Mark Henry has is choosing a pink shirt.
No, I think at the end of the day, for me, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Square Circle Wrestling Podcast has just now imploded. Please stay tuned for the next announcement.
If you look at who you've got that could be available for it, Jericho won't be there because I don't see him not wrestling on the show, but just doing commentary. I don't see that working.
Did on Rampage.
But then he pulled back on that, didn't he? So
Still did it on Rampage.
I know, but so did Mark Henry and so did Big Show.
Mark Henry's retired.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm
Big Show might as well be retired.
Yeah, to me, it's true.
Like 20 years ago.
I think you need someone like Mike Tenay or stuff like that, D'Lo Brown, those type of people. Matt Striker. Just imagine Matt Striker
would be good.
Matt Striker and Nigel McGuinness on the thing. I think those two are bouncing together, or either Vampiro, because him in Lucha Underground was incredible. Like, do you think about all these people who have been the?
I know
you
who
look like the Ultimate Warrior.
I know who it's going to be. He cut one of the most killer promos of 2023 so far, and he made 2 appearances for All Elite. Right, he's the genocidal and the suicidal
Sabu, yeah.
Sabu.
Do you know what? I've just realised you used to live in Southampton, didn't you, Andy?
Yeah.
Yeah, now I know. When I met Big Show last year, and I spoke to him, and he said, "Where from England are you from?" And I said, "Oh, just south of London." He said, "Oh, you're not from Southampton, are you?" And I went, "No way." He said, "Oh, good." And me and my friends were trying to work out who somewhere in Southampton has peed off the Big Show. It must have been you, because of that little comment about Big Show. Might as well be retired. You know, it's you. It's you that Big Show doesn't like Southampton.
Okay, let me tell you this. Right, I've never met the Big Show, but I've had a week off, and in that week off, I have decided that I'm not going to be nice to people anymore, and I'm going to cut it right down the middle.
Were you ever?
And I'm going to tell it like it is. I am going to be the cult of controversy.
Oh,
say hello to the bad guy.
Say hello. No. Because I'm not making a joke about Scott Hall. That's just not fair.
No, the legend that is.
The legend that is Scott. I'm not going to do that. But to finish this off, I think they need to get a new commentary team pretty sorted pretty quick.
Yeah, they do.
If Mauro Ranallo is coming in, the problem I think is that Mauro will upstage Kevin Kelly.
Mamma mia!
Now, what was the one thing that I really enjoyed about Collision was the 2-man booth.
Yeah,
and they sat them ringside. I know it's WWE, I know it's what you know, but it looked right.
At the end of the day, at Pro Wrestle Dorset, you guys will be ringside. You won't be up in the
good
car park.
Good. I will be within arm's reach of a steel chair.
Yes, but Sam, you've got a 3-man booth. Well, actually, no, because technically someone's not been hired yet. So
they've been hired, they just haven't been announced.
Announced. Yeah, maybe the role might change from co-commentator to
DM
to official Andy Evans, thorn in Andy Evans' side. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Moving on.
But I want to give a shout out to. I quite like the set design of Collision.
Yeah,
I did like the set design of Collision. That was quite nice.
Yeah, it was very 90s and very futuristic in look. It reminded me of WCW Saturday Night.
Yes,
back in the early 90s.
Yeah,
because they did the whole machinery sort of thing, and it was very futuristic. And this is like the same with the triangle
and the logo and all stuff like that.
Yeah, the similar. I'm still disappointed they didn't go with the metal AEW letters, just mimicking the WCW ones. That
Give it time. Give it time.
I love that.
Time.
But you can tell there's a WWE executive VP now in terms of stage design because of the fact that it looks very WWE.
And also the camera work as well. I thought that it was very like the whole following. No, WWE at points how the camera followed the wrestler to the ring or stuff like that. Very WWE in like between 2010 and 2020. That 10 years, There was a lot of the whole let's literally feel like we're a GoPro on the wrestler. I felt
WCW used to do that quite a lot as well, didn't they? Because the WCW, for a large period of time, they used to have the camera zoomed right at the entrance, and then they would sort of pan out as they, follow them as they would walk to the ring. It was only when they get to nearer the ring that they would do some crowd shots or whatnot.
As long as Tony Khan doesn't give Aubrey Edwards a go cam
don't even get me started on that whole thing.
Or cameras in the turnbuckles. Remember, like WWE did that. So if they went to do the 10, no, not interested in that. But Collision was. If you haven't seen it, we don't want to give you too many spoilers, but it is a great show. Check it out.
Really enjoyed the main event.
Yeah, really. Is it going to appear in Top Picks? We'll find out later on tonight. But check it out. ITV4, 9 o'clock tomorrow night, prime time for ITV. Also available on ITVX. You can watch Dynamite Rampage and Collision on ITVX in HD. I will add. Right, moving on. Pro Wrestling Legends.
That is so 2010. Now in HD. Jesus Christ.
Right, how do I kick him out? How do I do that?
No, right. But it is, isn't it?
It's look, I'm old school, right?
No, I'm just saying it's so 2010. I remember 2010 when WWE used to have that big logo, WWE in HD.
Like. Do you know what I'm going to do next week? I'm going to do a TSC HD logo, and I'm suddenly going to get it appearing on the screen.
Yeah, go on then.
Dancing around like the DVD logo.
Oh yeah, changing colour as it hits the sides.
All right, you're making my animation look far too good.
I think we should have one of those things. You know, when the channels finish airing with the girl with the clown doll and the chalkboard. We should get one with Andy drawing a picture of Nikita Lyons on the chalkboard. A Bob Ross picture of Andy Evans' head on Bob Ross with painting Nikita.
Or you go back to the old school days where before an advert break, you knew an advert break was coming out because there was a little black and white.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just get a picture of me standing over a fallen Stefan or whatever it is with a steel chair. With PWD logo on the top.
Or no. Or the picture where it's Vince McMahon on his knees wetting himself while
Austin with the bang,
Austin with the bang, but it's PWD logo.
Well, we'll Photoshop Stefan's face.
We'll do and Andy on his knees with the wet patch and everything with me standing over him.
Let's not do that.
Moving on.
Very quickly. One person who's talking dark side of the ring, and that's pretty much where this conversation is going, is Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He appeared on Going Ringside for the local station to discuss a wide range of topics, including his involvement with the latest season of that hit Vice series. Brutus begins by revealing the creators of the show are interested in doing an episode on him. And that's where you get tumbleweeds. There's a special coming up on Vice called Dark Side. Me and my wife Missy did an extensive part of that episode about Marty Jannetty that's going to air, and they liked it so much they're thinking about doing one of me. We'll see. Now, I love Brudai. I've interviewed Brutus before on TWS, and he kayfabed me the entire time.
I don't see the appeal. I don't really see if there's really that much really about Brudai me that would make a great episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
It will be the parasailing accident and what happened in the recovery, really, and whether or not he got addicted to drugs. I mean, have either of you two seen any of season 4 of Dark Side?
Yeah, I watched the Chris Candido and Sonny episode. That was really emotional.
The ending was really powerful.
That was really emotional.
Yeah.
There were tears welling up watching that. That was really, really sad. And it's amazing because I was watching it and obviously everyone was telling the story of their relationship. And I kept thinking to myself, reminding myself, oh my God, you're 40. You watched it wrestling when they were there and when they first come into it and through all that. I watched that journey, but it's when you see what went on behind the scenes. And Chris Candido, we all know what a talented performer he really was. Long gone before his time, and really, really, I felt deserved better from the business. Without a doubt. And it's a shame. And it's such a shame that Sonny went from the way she was to where she is now. Talking about... they could have done just an episode solely on her.
Do you
And
know what?
it's a shame that she's gone the way she has, and she's done the things that she's done.
I was a huge Sunny fan back in the day, but to be quite frank, I think Sunny's brought it on. Sunny
Oh,
has
of course
brought
she has.
Sunny onto herself, and
Absolutely.
the tragic thing about all of this is Chris Candido. And
Mm.
if you haven't seen Dark Side, try and find it somehow. It will air in the UK at some point.
There is a channel on YouTube that appears to be uploading the full episode, which is how I caught it. And we got the Doink the Clown one coming up as well, which I'm really actually looking forward to that one as well.
Doink will be interesting, but what really got me about the Chris Candido one at the end of it, where they're talking about Chris passing, every person that they interviewed, from Dr. Tom Pritchard to Lance Storm, were completely in tears.
Yeah,
I mean, it was very, very emotional. So check that out. Bandito is feeling a little worse for wear at the minute after a grueling main event on AEW Rampage. He noted via social media that he suffered a broken wrist in his match against
Takeshita.
Yeah, him. He said that it's been a triangular fibrocartilage complex injury and I need surgery as soon as possible. Excuse me. And he will have to take time out. So speedy get wells to Bandito. Bad time for him because I think he was on a run.
You missed the trick going in from one story to the other. Then, if this had been last week, me doing it, I would have said from Candido to Bandito, and then I would have done that thing. That's just me, anyway.
I'm not gonna sacrifice the lineage of the great Chris Candido by
doing you would have
Candido to Bandito. No. I've said some bad things tonight. I've said some bad things tonight. No. But what we do know in 2 weeks at Money in the Bank, they are going all in on this because the Civil War has been announced. The Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, taking place Saturday, July the 1st from the O2 on pay-per-view or on PLE. It's the Bloodline Civil War main event.
I'm so annoyed I'm not going to Money in the Bank now because, to be fair, it looks like it's going to be a really good show.
Well, you can watch it on the WWE Network.
I don't want to watch it on the WWE Network when I could be there myself.
But what you want to do is go around the O2, go to a local pub, because there'll be loads of wrestling fans who can't get into it, or check out our friends at Hooked on Wrestling, who will be doing a Money in the Bank live event. And you can go watch it with them.
This is the thing. I don't want to go watch it on the TV screen. I want to be there.
But the closest thing you're going to get is going to a HOW event and being with capacity of live fans.
We'll see. We've got just over a week left.
Well, there is still tickets. They're just really, 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 really
expensive.
Yeah, I'm not paying that. No, not paying that.
Although I have to say, if things work out well and I can sort out, I'm hoping to be able to upgrade the all-in tickets to even better seats. But at the moment, we're going to be up. We're going to have a good view of everything, but we're going to be up.
I'm up in the rafters.
Same. Yeah, that's where me and
that's fine. Will be. That's fine. At least you're
funny as well, though. I'm literally in the same section of our chief branding officer from Pro Wrestle Dorset in the section 508. You can find me there. Except I am a certain amount of seat in front of him, and it's hilarious. We're literally like, how are we booked our tickets at separate times? Yet we are in the same section.
Oh, is that Lee?
Rows. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Lee.
The exact same section.
I'm coming up with Lee in the car. We're travelling up together. Where are we? Just out of interest.
I'm actually, that's what I'm actually looking at the moment, because I've got a feeling we might be in the exact same section.
So basically, from my seat, will be able to, I'll see the ring perfect up in the gods, but the staging I won't be able to see like we'd see on the TV. But that's fine. I can watch it back later on. I can't wait. But when we talk about
what section did you say you was?
508.
We're 509.
Amazing. So I'll see you next door. The thing, going back to that thing though, is the fact that look at those tickets. So I was able to get tickets. Yes, they're up in the rafters. I don't care. I want to be there.
Yeah.
It's literally the tail end of the week after my birthday. So it's ending my birthday week. Amazing. And it literally is one of those things that I look at it and go, I got my tickets all in. I did that.
So we did
£30 compared to trying to get a ticket for the O2 by for WWE, I was looking at £130 for Up in the Rafters, and it's just that crazy thing.
And if you talk of history, I know this. They're saying this is Money in the Bank. It's the first time it's been over here, but they did do a premium live event last September. This is the biggest show since SummerSlam '92, and you know what? I'll watch it again on pay-per-view. But just to say you were there, in the crowd. Now I've got a weekend, right? Because the Saturday night I'm going to watch a Robbie Williams tribute at the Weymouth Pavilion, and then the Sunday I'm going up to All In.
Yeah, I still don't even know how I'm getting there and back yet. I haven't managed to even work that out. I looked at getting a hotel. I am not paying those prices. You know, there's a big event on at Wembley when all the surrounding areas that have got B&Bs and hotels have whacked their prices right up. Yeah, it's just not doable. So I'm a little bit. That's the only thing I'm concerned about at the moment is getting there and back.
But then when you look at also, I then have to then look back at it and actually go. You look at the price of the tickets, but then you look at the lineup for Money in the Bank. You have got that Civil War main event. Sorry, but Money in the Banks, they're not going to be the main event. You are going to have the main event of the Uso brothers versus Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. And for me, I honestly, now that is worth the money. You then go to the Money in the Bank match. The fact that obviously that was updated from Raw last night. You've got those 7 men in that match. That is worth the money. You've then got you've got the women's match. That's worth the money. Any other match is bonus. I'm not saying AEW isn't worth the money, but you can understand why the price is expensive.
I'm disappointed.
It's going for so long.
I'm disappointed in you, Sam. I'm disappointed in you, Sam. You're talking about the men's Money in the Bank ladder match and everything that's worth it alone. The Usos versus Solo and Roman. As I say, you're forgetting one of the very key matches, which is above and beyond the best match of the night. The tag team match between Pretty Deadly.
Do you know what I got? Do you know
it's not main event worthy when you've got a match of the Civil War. That is no offense to the Yes Boys, but for me, this storyline is one of the great, if not for me, the greatest storytelling in WWE in all time.
Yeah,
it's poetry in motion. I alone could do a one-man podcast show on this storyline because I love it that much.
Well, we'll go do it then.
Off you go.
See you later, mate.
You can put it on our feed. It's fine. Off you go.
But you know what I mean, though. It's leading up, and then no offense to Clash of the Castle, I didn't go. I watched it live. There was brilliant lead up to it, but it still left you wanting going and stuff. This one, I really don't know how that match is going to end. Is it going to end with Usos standing over with Solo Sikoa on their side, or is it going to end up with Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns standing tall and making the Usos look so weak? Who knows? And that's what I'm gripped about. Can't wait for the 1st of July.
Well, hold it all in. It's next Tuesday is the preview for Money in the Bank. It goes down live next Saturday. So, Stefan, I don't know what you think about this, but what about Sam? Do you want to come and do the preview with us and you can talk about the bloodline?
No, he's just disrespected Pretty Deadly.
Well, in fairness, I was going to come back to that and actually go, out of this whole thing between Owens and Zayn and Pretty Deadly, I've only got 2 words for them. No boy. It's going to be the worst match on the card ever.
Wow.
No boy.
Wow.
Awful.
Wow.
There we go. There we go.
Wow.
You've made me laugh. I've dropped my shirt.
I don't even know how to come back from that.
I don't even know how that happens, but yeah, anyway.
No, I've got no idea how that works. Right.
Should we move on? Because this is going down the pan now.
Right, we are running quite rapidly over time. So we're going to go straight to Event Centre and talk about Forbidden Door. And we'll be back right after this. It came back too quick and it caught me doing the last drum. Stefan really doesn't look not happy. Is that because I said no boy to that match?
honestly, you both lost the plot. I swear to God.
They
Oh,
are
my God.
quite possibly one of the worst tag teams
Oh,
in recent
Oh,
memory.
no, I
no
have to
chance.
disagree with that.
No chance.
I
They're
mean,
just
to a degree.
This is
even-
where you know Andy's out of the loop with some wrestling, isn't
No,
he? He's
no,
not
no.
watched it. No.
This is when you go. The New Day are better,
oh yeah.
right?
Yeah, but they're more established. I mean, they've been
Okay,
tagging for the
all
past better part of a
Okay.
decade.
All right. I will go even better than this. You could throw the most untalented performer in professional wrestling history, Zoe Stark, and you could team her up with an equally bad performer, Shayna Baszler, and they would still be better than Pretty Deadly.
Oh, dude, no.
No, right. I have to go. Whoa, hold your horses. Shayna Baszler is superb. She
Okay.
is the winner of the 2024 Royal Rumble.
Oh,
Royal
God,
Rumble.
my God.
And then secondly, the
This show's
F-boy,
losing credibility by the second now.
But no,
It's not.
honestly though, the Pretty Deadly are an amazing tag team. But for me, they are not main event worthy yet. They will be down the line because even if you look back in time, putting Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston together, you'd have think, oh, really? Oh, really?
And that is
And look at
where
them now.
And this is the only time in this show I'm going to do yes, boy, to that comment because that was the only one that was legit.
I think we should have just gone story time instead of the last 2 minutes happening.
Right. We are going to open the Forbidden Door full preview of the 4 matches that we know so far and one potential rumored match coming out of All Elite Wrestling, kicking off with this one. We're going to the desert. It's Bryan Danielson facing off against Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker. This potentially, guys, is going to be match of the night. And that's not taking anything away from Omega and Ospreay, which is what we now know is going to be main eventing Forbidden Door. The worst match on the card so far is Jack Perry versus Sonata. I've got no interest in that at all. And MJF versus Tanahashi, we don't even know if we're going to get. But Danielson and Okada, 2 very strong hitters, very hard, legit fighters, legit wrestlers. This is a difficult one to call, right? It's not, Sam. No, Sam.
So for me, the lead up to it has been incredible. The fact that at New Japan, when that video aired, and Daniel Bryan Danielson had that amazing line where he says, "You're not going to be able to have rain because the desert's dry." Like I thought that. It's just amazing. No offense, but Bryan Danielson's winning, hands down.
And that's what I've put for my prediction is Danielson going
because.
over.
But what it's going to be is going to be a barn burner. That is going to be a clinic. That is going to be one that you show your friends who have not got into wrestling yet. You're going to go, right, here's a match I want you to sit down and watch. It is going to be up there with the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in the cage. Like, for me, it will be up there as one of the greatest AEW matches of all time, in my personal view.
So, does this open the card? Because we know Omega Ospreay is going to close it. Is this the opener?
Yeah, because it gets everyone pumped up. If you open it up with, no offense to him, but Jack Perry versus Sonata, it's a bit like, oh, okay, so compared to you open it up with this match, you are an instant money. You're going to hook people instantly, and then you have the bit of the lulls. It's what they used to do back in the day. You open with the WWE title, you close with the World Heavyweight title, or vice versa. And it's my personal view is that's how you do it to make it fully work, about how to make people hook straight away. If you start with a lackluster match, no offense, Jack Perry and Snyder, but it's going to be lackluster, especially when you're going to call him Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. No, get rid of the Jungle Boy. He's not a Jungle Boy. He lives in a concrete jungle, not in actual jungle. But it doesn't work.
But Sam, Danhausen's not really evil.
Whoa, he is.
How dare you?
How very dare you?
My God, what is wrong with you, man? He's very nice, very evil. And for that, you'll be cursed.
And that will get you a no boy.
Yeah. Just
Anyway.
In all seriousness,
graceful comment.
This will be the one
Wow.
that they'll set the bar so high. The rest of the show will be a bit like, oh, it's going to be beat. It's going to be beat. And I think Omega versus Ospreay is going to be incredible, but not quite the incredibleness of this match.
Okay, so I've gone Danielson. You've gone Danielson. Stefan, who are you going for?
Full house. From the moment the match was announced, I think Danielson's winning it.
So how long do we give it? 30 minutes?
I reckon it'll be about the 25, 30 minute mark.
28 minutes and 34 seconds.
It's good. That accurate. Jesus Christ.
Just imagine if you look back next week and actually go, oh, it was.
Right, I'll tell you what. I'll make you a deal. Let's raise the stakes, okay? When a certain Kieran Cross is announced for PWD, right? If your timing is absolutely spot on to that, right? I will at the inaugural show, right? I'll find something to do. I will bow down to Andy or something. I'll do something before the show begins and that. But I'll do something.
No.
Don't clip that.
No. If Sam is right on timings, you will not do it before the show. You will do it on the show.
Yeah, but I can't do it on the show because that's just killing my gimmick. So.
If it's being filmed. And then we'll release it on this podcast. All right, so Full House all going for Bryan Danielson. Next up, then, it is the barn burner. It is the merchandise match. It's Jungle Boy Jack Perry with Hook, Jungle Hook, facing off against the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sonata for the World Heavyweight title. I'm going to be brutally honest with you.
So I actually think it'll be a decent match. It's not going to be a show stealer by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a strange one.
It's a good match, but it's there for the sake of being there. They are trying to seriously put some sort of a rocket ship up Jack Perry's backside.
Unless they really do swerve us big time and Jack actually takes it. I don't think he will. I've gone Sonata, but
if this was Hook versus Sonata, I'd be hooked. Excuse the pun. Don't excuse the pun. No, I think personally, Jack Perry's got nothing. I think this is a Sonata win.
In fairness, I think since the split of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, it's been Luchasaurus that's done the best. You know, Jack Perry might have got the title shot, but it's been Luchasaurus that's done the best. If, however, they had said it was Sammy Guevara facing off against Sonata, it would be a different kettle of fish.
Yeah,
I would be more inclined to go.
And I don't understand why they didn't.
Absolutely.
You've got, I don't get it, but I think Guevara's onto bigger and better things, and that happens this Wednesday night on Dynamite.
Maybe
spoilers.
Yeah,
well, they've not happened yet, so it's not spoilers. But there's a match happening.
Yeah,
which is a 6-man tag. So I think he'll be involved in that. So Sam, you're going Sonata. Stefan?
Yeah, Sonata.
This pay-per-view is not going to change the cards at all.
It's not. I mean, it's practically there. I mean, what, one maybe one match is or two matches are not even set in stone. So, and one of them you've got listed is categorically apparently not happening. So,
well, that's what they're saying, but I prepare a swerve on that one. But next up is the AEW World Championship. It's MJF defending against Hiroshi Tanahashi in Tanahashi's second title match at the second Forbidden Door. He lost to Moxley at Forbidden Door. He's going to lose to MJF at Forbidden Door.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah. I think it'd be a good match.
I think it'll be a great match. He might win it, Sam. He's not going to win the strap.
Yeah, he won't win the strap.
Yeah,
I think he's going to win by disqualification because I think MJF is going to use the brass knuckles on the ref.
Well,
or something like that, or he won't show up and it'll be a count out, or he'll use someone else. He'll say, I'm not wrestling, someone else can wrestle for me, and then go out and knock out that person. Or he'll do something on his devilish ways to make it that he will not have to lose the belt, but also at the same point he will lose so then Kakashi, I'm going to pronounce his name, can win.
So I've got a prediction for this. I don't think you're going to get MJF versus Tanahashi. I think you're going to get Adam Cole versus Tanahashi. Now, Adam Cole is going to be talking on Dynamite this week. MJF has flat out refused to appear. storyline-wise, right? So, what if Tony Khan books a championship eliminator match at Forbidden Door?
Mm.
Tanahashi versus Adam Cole. Adam Cole goes over. That's how Adam Cole will get the championship match
Mm.
at All In at Wembley in London, and then we'll walk out the AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen. It's a perfect setup for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I think that's legit. Yeah.
Or I've had another thought. So to lead into the All In and all the stuff like that, they do have a match. He does turn up to the ring, but a certain someone, a certain leader of cult controversy, runs in, knocks out that guy.
Tanahashi.
That's it. I don't want to be offensive, so I don't want to say it wrong. So comes in, knocks him out with his belt, and then that starts off the storyline of Dynamite versus Collision at All In, title versus title match. So either way, that guy, I'm really not going to try and say his name, will win because of the new disqualification.
See, this is why I don't feel
it's about a 2-3 minute match.
This is why I don't feel comfortable of any of us making a prediction on a match which quite possibly isn't likely to actually take place. Because there's multiple potential scenarios of what will replace that.
We would do it on any other pay-per-view, so I don't think it's any different. But I get your point. Let's do the preview. If MJF versus Tanahashi happens, this is all fan speculation.
Fan fiction, baby.
The match has been announced. MJF versus Tanahashi. So let's predict it. I'm going MJF. I can't imagine anybody else not going MJF.
No, it's MJF because of disqualification. So he's won the match due to qualifying, but he's actually not won the match. Does that make sense?
So Sanada wins the match where MJF retains the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sanada then.
Not Sanada.
Tanahashi.
The match against Jack Perry.
Tanahashi. Now I'm getting confused. Tanahashi wins the match by disqualification, but MJF walks out with the AEW World Championship.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stefan.
Yeah, I can see. I can see. MJF will keep the belt, will keep the title, however it pans out. But I think, I'm going to go with Tanahashi getting the win, but MJF keeping the title.
Okay.
But I don't think that match is. I'm not convinced that match is actually going to take place.
Well, let's find out next Tuesday when we do the recap, which is all good. Last match on the card is the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. It is the rematch from Wrestle Kingdom 7. This is match of the night, as far as I'm concerned. Kenny Omega facing off against the UK's own Will Ospreay. I'm going to kick it off. It's going to be Ospreay. I reckon Ospreay's taking the title back.
I think it's Omega winning.
I think Ospreay.
So Stefan's going Ospreay. Sam is going Omega. We know Omega is not going to be on TV now until Forbidden Door. He's not on any programming this week, nor the Elite. Live. There's going to be pre-recorded segments.
Does he need to be to win the match? Does he need to be on any things?
Not necessarily, but if you take last Wednesday's Dynamite, that last image is Ospreay with that boot to the face of Kenny Omega and seeing him lay in that squared circle completely out. That is, they missed a trick on this. That should have been the go home Wednesday.
Yeah, that should have been, yeah.
Or the go home Saturday.
Go home Saturday.
Whatever. It should have been the go home week that they did it. Because that now, the way they sell this now on Dynamite is the fact that Omega's recovering from injury. Is he going to be match fit? Is he going to be ready to go at Forbidden Door? Right? But this is going to be great. If Wrestle Kingdom 17 or Wrestle Kingdom from this past year is anything to go by, this is going to be bloody brutal. There's going to be blood, weapons, mass hysteria, Don Callis getting involved, Takesha getting involved, everybody. The Elite's going to get involved. The Hanging Bucks are going to get involved.
The Empire
are going to get involved. So, is that another match we could potentially see? The Young Bucks versus the Empire?
Yeah, or the Aussie Open now.
Aussie Open.
They are now
all elite.
and All In. Yeah, and I do you know what I honestly feel? I feel like whoever wins, whoever loses, I think this is going to end up having it as the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay and the Aussie Open and Jeff Cobb or another member of that at All In.
Could possibly happen.
Whoever leaves with the title, I think it's going to be an 8-man tag team match.
I still wonder.
And I think that would be incredible, being especially how much the British audience who are going to be there, you think the majority of that audience isn't going to be just random fans that like this. That's going to be the all-out England's best fans, and even some Americans I know are coming over to it. They are going to come. They're going to go to it. These guys who have been all 8 of them have been on the indie scene in the UK. It's just going to be absolutely incredible if they were. So, but I personally think Omega's going to retain.
Okay, Omega to retain, Ospreay to win. That's both Stefan and I. That's Forbidden Door, guys. That's all we know. Now, we did have a match rumoured to predict, and that was going to be CM Punk versus Kenta. Apparently, that is completely off. I do wonder if they're going to swerve us. I don't know. That could be a last-minute addition on Collision. You know, Kenta comes in and GTS or attempts to GTS Punk. I don't know.
Go to sleep on a pole match.
No, boy. But I think we leave it there. That's Forbidden Door.
I think we could end up seeing the birth of a brand new segment called Yes Boy, No Boy. And it's like you say, you talk about something that's happening in wrestling this week, and if you like it, it's a yes boy. If you didn't like it, it's a no boy.
Well, maybe that's the replacement for Top Picks.
Oh no, yeah, maybe.
If you can get in contact with your friends, they're pretty deadly. Might get them to be able to do a yes boy and a no boy, and we can play it over. Who knows? Who knows? Right, Sam, over to you, because that is Forbidden Door preview. We're rapidly running out of time because we need to be done by a certain time tonight, and we still got Top Picks to do. So, when am I?
No,
who am I? Who am I?
Okay, so number 1, I was born.
Hold on, 2 seconds. If you've never played Who Am I before, here are the rules. Sam is going to give 5 questions going from hard to low, from hard to easy. Stefan and I need to get it as quick as we can. So, question number 1 or question number 5.
Question 5. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so first one. I was born April 26th, 1967 in Gijón de Aldoros, Spain.
What and where?
Okay, any guess who it was?
What year?
1967. On the 26th of April, to be precise. And he was born in Spain.
Ah, yes. I have an idea.
Oh.
Here he goes.
Do you want to hold
Tito
on to
Santana.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
No. Okay. Number 2. I made my professional wrestling debut in 1992.
No idea.
Trying to think. I'm trying to think. There was the Latin lover that used to be in WWE. Was he Spanish? I don't know.
No. Okay, you ready for the next one?
Go on then.
Number 3. I have a bit of a Republican view on life.
Donald Trump.
No.
Oh.
Definitely wasn't born in 1967.
Donald Trump Jr.
No. I said it'd be a hard one. Ian?
I'm trying to think. No.
Okay, you ready for number 4?
Go on then.
I have had many faces in jobs, including others.
How is that getting any easier? It's supposed to get easier as you go. And there's only one question left.
Yeah.
Is it Aldo Montoya? Just incredible.
No. Okay, you ready for the last one? This one will then Sonny will put everything together and go, what? Are you ready?
I hope so.
My favourite colour is red.
Okay, Stefan, on the count of 3, you know what we're going to do. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Kane.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
And actually, Stefan just got it right.
Kane.
Yeah.
Oh, was
Glenn
it?
Jacobs.
Glenn Jacobs was born in Spain.
It just.
Yeah.
I knew he was born in Spain, but I didn't think his debut was in '92. It must have been.
So we'll go through it. He was born in Spain. I've used it on so many wrestling quizzes and still got people like mixed up, even though they know that fact already. He was made professional debut in 1992. He has a bit of a Republican view because he's a Republican mayor.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I have many faces. He was Kane. He was
also
a dentist.
Yeah.
Fake other people's.
I thought his debut was in '93 before, just before he did the Isaac Yankem. Okay.
Yeah. Technically, he debuted as Unabomber in OVW. That was his first appearance.
And then my favourite colour of red because he's a big red monster.
Big red machine.
So yeah. Well done, Stefan, for getting that one on the.
But the whole point was to make it get easier as it went on.
Personally,
my favourite colour is red.
I would have got it with a Republican view because I like the politics stuff in America.
Yeah. See, I don't follow politics. They're all full of it, as far as I'm concerned.
I said it would be a hard one,
especially if their name.
Oh well.
Especially if their name
I've got it. Yeah. Oh well, I've got it. So. Cool.
All right. Stefan, Samuel, very, very difficult. Well done to both of you for getting that. And Sam, we need to talk about the rules of Who Am I?
When I was writing this, I thought it was getting easier. Clearly, it wasn't for you two. Maybe I need to do Smarter Than a 5-year-old.
Easy questions are, I am the Undertaker's brother.
Yeah, that might have been the easiest.
Or if I was previously a dentist, but I'm now a mayor.
That would have worked.
Yeah, that could have been question 4 or
my
5.
My father was a funeral director. That might have given it away as well, but not. Yeah. I have many faces.
My brother, I was allegedly burnt after my older brother set fire to my home.
Do you know what my funny thing was? Instead of having many faces, I nearly had the question is, I'm scared of May 19th.
I would have got that. I would have got that.
Katie Vick was my first girlfriend. I would have got that as well.
Oh. Actually, I think Tori came before Katie Vick.
Excuse me? This is a family show.
No, you know what I mean? Tori was in 2000, and the whole Katie Vick thing, I think, was in 2000.
Well, he was definitely a bit rock hard for her by the time she came out of the crate.
Oh, God.
Right, okay, so I'm going to be straight with you guys, as I've just messaged in the private chat. My wife isn't very well. She's got sunstroke, and she's suffering.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to need to wrap the show up in a few minutes. So let's go to Top Picks. If you're asking where Rewind is and Story Time, we will upload them as bonus uploads to the YouTube feed. And I will add them on to the podcast feed.
So save Story Time for next week.
Okay, so apologies. It is going to be a shorter show, but my wife is struggling. And I've got to do the husband duties. And
what a man, what a mighty good man.
Go in, rub suntan lotion on her burnt mitts. Okay, let's go to... Not like that. Let's go to Top Picks. Where is Top Picks? There it is. All right, so TSC Top Picks. For those of you who don't know how this works, where have you been for the last 6 months? Top Picks is where we look at the best of the week. Best wrestler, best show, best match, best segment, promo or angle, best storyline, best company, best moment, and if you have one, which I don't this week, a guilty pleasure. So, let's kick off with best match. Stefan.
Best match, I'm going for the main event of Collision.
CM
FTR versus Switchblade, Jay White, Jay Robinson, and Juice Robinson and Samoa Joe.
Which is a really good pick because I think it's the first time we've seen Switchblade be Switchblade in All Elite Wrestling. I mean, Bullet Club Gold became gold at that point, and I've saved it until now because I think that we've all been talking about CM Punk versus MJF. Your next feud for CM Punk is Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I like the callback to the Ring of Honor days of old.
It's the summer of Punk again, all over. I think that'll be a great feud.
Yeah.
Going up, Sam. What's your best match?
I'm going to go Impact.
Good choice.
And it's the main event from this last week, and it was just so good. I in my view at the moment is, not even just that. It's just that Impact at the moment is just on top form. Like, how they're doing it at the moment is almost going still over here. Hello. Yeah.
So what was the match?
Alex Shelley. Sorry, Alex Shelley. Oh no, was that at the pay-per-view or more? But it's Steve Macklin versus Alex Shelley.
So that was at the pay-per-view against all odds.
Sorry. I know, Under Siege. So yeah. So I've viewed it this week because I've been watching this last week. So
okay. So you're behind on Impact, right? Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Okay. Best segment, promo, or angle?
What was your favourite match?
Oh, my favourite match was Adam Cole versus MJF.
Right, okay.
Very closely followed by Andrade El Idolo versus Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
Buddy Matthews. That was the
I was going to go Adam Cole, MJF, but for me, that 6-man tag for me was just like, it's even the names in it just for me were just.
I mean, it was star power, and that's what they needed for Collision. They now need to keep that going. But for me, seeing the ending of that match with the House of Black coming out and the bull rope from Brody King was just.
Yeah,
it made it. They are making the House of Black look like stars, and that match made Buddy Murphy look like a true superstar.
Yeah. What did you say was best show? What did you say?
No, best segment, promo, or angle.
Best segment. I'm gonna go with. Actually, I'm gonna go with the whole Kevin Owens having rage issues that Sami Zayn pointed out on Raw last night. That whole thing, seeing him the more Kevin Steen version of Owens, I love it, and it's comical, and having the bit just with Matt Riddle just touch it, like him talking to Riddle, and Riddle just sort of went like that, and as Owens walked off, he just went, "Don't touch me." It's entertaining. I really enjoyed it. I've gone for that. On that, so.
It's making them relevant again, isn't it? Sam,
it's simple. You're out of the bloodline, so am I. I'm out of the bloodline. Super good for Roman Reigns' face, just incredible. Literally, it's poetry in motion. It's literally, I will say it to the day I die, poetry in motion.
Okay. And it's time. It's time for the Usos to move. We'll come back to that in just a second.
Definitely Money in the Bank, could you say?
He's here for the next 10 minutes. For me, the best segment, there was a lot of them to choose from. I was really torn. I mostly watch AEW at the moment. That's what I'm remembering more is All Elite more than WWE, which may not be such a good thing anymore. But there were some really good moments. The Sammy Guevara face promo on Dynamite with that altercation between Jericho and Sting for the first time ever. The batting of the bats was up there. But for me, I went to Collision and I went CM Punk. That pains me because I can't stand CM Punk.
Yeah, but it shouldn't matter, should it? If he's delivered on something and he's caught you, that's what he's paid to do.
But I will say, just like the first dance, I was hooked on him coming out. I wanted to know what he was going to say. And I do think Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness did add something to that as well, especially that relationship between McGuinness and Punk from Ring of Honor, and they could draw on that. That was clever. That was very, very clever. So yeah, CM Punk. Best storyline, however, is the implosion of the Bloodline.
Yeah, I've agreed with that. Yeah,
it has to be. It has to be.
Yeah, just it's poetry in motion. No, I literally, for me, the way they have done it is so well because it's not been. Everyone was thinking, "Oh, this is going to be SummerSlam. This is going to be SummerSlam." But so they didn't. They absolutely shocked us all, and it's like, "Whoa, it's happened even quicker." But it's not felt rushed. It's felt perfect because how I think it's going to end up in Money in the Bank is the fact of that Solo's going to like screw over Roman, and that's going to end up as Solo versus Roman at SummerSlam, and they've done it so well. And it's how to make money and how to have it that we haven't got all the matches yet for this pay-per-view, and it's how to even to the last minute have people hooked, going, oh my god, like come next Friday, are we still going to get some things in live in London that are suddenly going to be? Oh, it's just amazing. So yeah, best storyline is Implosion.
I think you're right, because there's rumours now that they're going to bring in more members of the Anui family, including the guys from MLW, which will be interesting. The current
Incredible.
MLW tag team champions. That will then give more life to the Bloodline story.
Who's to say they don't debut at Money in the Bank?
They might possibly do.
And side with Roman.
Yeah.
And that's a good shout. But I think definitely the Bloodline implodes. That was my best. That was torn as well between my best moment was that super kick and the Icon versus Icon, because I think that everything was perfect about this. The way they built it up through SmackDown, the whole implosion, to the promo, to the fact that they threw that little swerve out that Jimmy Uso turned around and said he didn't want him to be the next tribal chief, and that altercation between Jay and Jimmy as to whether or not it was going to happen, to that first super kick which came out of nowhere, Solo's face, Heyman scrambling out of the ring. It was beautifully done. Other best moment was Icon versus Icon, Sting versus Jericho. That potentially is all in.
Be good if you lose. I'd say that.
I'd be a very happy man.
That is potentially all in. What about you guys, Sam?
Sorry,
best moment.
Best moment. Sorry, it for me is the super kick.
Super kick.
Other than the best match, everything else for me is WWE and the Bloodline. It's for me it was that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Stefan?
Yeah, same. It's that Bloodline imploding moment.
Sweet. Okay. So that brings us on to best wrestler. Any company, male or female. Stefan?
I'm gonna go with Adam Cole.
Good choice. Good choice.
I think he's, after him coming back from the concussion, the questions whether or not he'll be able to wrestle again, I think he's looked superb. It took him a couple of matches to get, shake off a little bit of ring rust, I think, and get his timing. But I think he's been on, match after match, and that he's been knocking it out of the park.
This is Ring of Honor Adam Cole. This
isn't
even NXT Adam Cole. This is Ring of Honor. This is Ring of Honor.
This is old school Adam Cole.
Yeah, you can see it. Sam?
For me, Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah,
nice return.
See him return.
That was good. Fan. Yeah, that was my tied best moment. Was him coming out, not only returning and it looking like it's the Ciampa that we loved in NXT, but bringing back the "No One Will Survive" entrance theme. Yes,
I popped so much, and the fact is, I remember many years ago. Small little anecdote for you. I was in London with my sister and my nephew and niece. We went to M&M World. And I stood there waiting for them to pick their sweets. And I looked over and I saw this guy and I was like, I recognise that guy. Oh, and I racked my brain. I went off and got my sweets and that lot, came back to the area and he still stood there waiting for someone. And it was Tommaso Ciampa. This is back when he was in an indie days. And I went, I've got to. And I went up to him and I said to him, truly, sir, you are an incredible wrestler. I've seen you around the UK. I've seen your work online. Incredible. And he simply said to me, thank you for coming up to me and saying hello. Like the fact that he wasn't egotistical, he was just saying thank you, because he said so many times, because he's played the heel over the years, he has been like almost people didn't want to go up to him. And I went up to him, amazing moment, and then literally 2-3 months later, he's on the Cruiserweight Classic. And I literally like, this is incredible. I've literally just seen him just before he does his WWE debut.
And you know what you should say to him if you see him again, right? You know what you should say to him. You know what you should say to him again. Right. Any tips on DIY?
Yeah. God.
I think the thing for me also is the fact of him coming back is he's come back his face because he went against the Miz.
Yeah. I think we're getting a DIY reunion at some point.
That's rumored. That's rumored to be happening, and they will be your next World Tag Team Champions. They will be the ones that take you off Owens and Zayn.
Potentially, yeah.
We can agree with that. All right. My best wrestler this week. I went MJF because I had to go against Adam Cole, right? Adam Cole is easily his best wrestler, but MJF got the best out of Adam Cole. That's been the best he's performed. And that takes one hell of a good worker and one hell of a good heel to raise someone up in the game. So I went MJF. Best show?
Collision.
Raw last night.
Ugh.
Raw was good last night.
Yeah,
I see
loved
what
it.
Sam's getting at, but I thought Collision. It just had too many good matches, like great matches on there for me. It was a really good start. Storytelling was good. And yeah, just for me, it was a solid show. Raw had, I think, 3/4 of Raw was really good. There was a little bit where I think it was a bit sort of like forgettable, but I'll go for Collision.
I've gone Collision. But the litmus test will be in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Whether or not they can keep this, because you're not going to have a Punk return. You know, what are they going to do? Is it going to become Dynamite? That's my concern with Collision, is that it's going to lose its identities. But definitely
Or
for a
Rampage 2.0.
or Rampage 2.0, definitely for a debut, one of the best debut shows I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah,
the way it was built right the way through.
Just wait till November 4th.
Yeah, all right. I know where you're going with that. That's the debut of Pro Wrestle Dorset.
Oh yeah, baby.
More information coming soon. Best company then.
WWE.
Stefan?
Yeah, WWE just edge. I think over SmackDown, Raw. I think they just take it, because SmackDown was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was pretty good. And obviously Raw was really good. So yeah, I'll go WWE. Just.
So I'm going AEW because I think they had a cracking week. Dynamite was solid from start to finish. Some great matches. Some great subtle storyline builds as well.
Actually, yeah, no, I am going to change. I'm going to change my pick to AEW. Yeah, because with Dynamite. Yeah, with Dynamite. Yeah, you're right. Dynamite was brilliant. Yeah, it'll be stupid to actually give it to WWE when I've watched both Collision and Dynamite, and they both delivered. So actually, yeah, sorry, I'm going to go AEW.
Yeah. AEW for me and Stefan, and WWE for Sam. That gives us on to Guilty Pleasure. Now, I said at the top of the segment I didn't have one. I've changed my mind. I do have a Guilty Pleasure. Logan Paul.
Oh, you took my one. Literally, I'm the same. For me, the fact that for me, if it wasn't for that segment with the Implosion of the Bloodline, that promo on top of the ladder was superb. The fact that he's back and he's going to be a thing, I think is incredible. He's not going to win it, though. A lot of the dirt sheets are saying he's going to win it because he's then going to have that power and that lot. He won't win it because it's going to be LA Knight.
Yeah.
But what? And I think for me is the fact that that promo was superb. The whole arena's black and just the light on him on top of the ladder. A lot of people said, just imagine if he wasn't paying attention, he picked up the white briefcase instead of the green one. But I thought it was superb, absolutely superb.
I don't actually care about the fact they've changed the rules of Money in the Bank to include him in it. I think that's great. It makes him look like a big star. But the feud coming out of that is going to be Ricochet versus Logan Paul. They teased it last night on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with this. I'm sticking with the same thing. I'm not going to go Logan Paul. I'm going to go LA Knight. And the reason being was I thought what he said was spot on, was brilliantly delivered. The pop he got. I mean, again, you can't deny that he's over even as a heel. The fans want more LA Knight, and justified. And I just loved his delivery. It was to the point. It was sharp. I just really enjoyed what he brought in it. I think he's great, and hopefully he does walk away with the briefcase.
I think winning that briefcase will make him face,
potentially,
like it did with Ziggler.
Well,
potentially.
I've got a prediction for you. Do I save it until Tuesday, or do I give it to you now?
Go on. What?
LA Knight, will win Money in the Bank. Roman Reigns will be beaten up and bloodied and completely destroyed as part of the Civil War. And LA Knight will cash in and end the 1,000+ day run of Roman Reigns.
I would love that, but I don't think that's happening. Money in the Bank.
In
my little brain, I'd
book it like that. I would book it similar to that, but no.
No, I think he's cashing in against Rollins. Just imagine those two doing their promos against each other. That is gold. That is pure gold. Seth versus LA Knight. Yeah. It's going to be incredible.
Do you know what I would like to see? And you probably disagree with this, but like I said, I would like to see Roman legit lose the title, and just as whoever's beating him celebrates and that, someone like, I don't know, Solo, whatever, that hits the champion, takes him down while he's celebrating, and then LA Knight comes out and cashes in, and we have the title change twice in minutes, similar to what they did with SummerSlam with Daniel Bryan when he won the championship, and then was it Randy Orton won it, cashed in. Triple H pedigreed him, didn't he? And then Orton cashed in. Same similar.
In fairness, when it went to Saudi Arabia, I was predicting Cody Rhodes was going to win Money in the Bank. He's not even in it.
No.
He's up against Dominic Mysterio. Anyway.
Yeah.
But that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, it's a bit of a scaled back show. We cut a couple of segments. We will add them in this week. But next week on this show, not only will be recapping Forbidden Door, maybe 5 matches. Maybe they're all going to be an hour in length. Who knows? I can't see Jack Perry versus Sonata running for an hour, but you never know. We'll be recapping Forbidden Door. We got the TSC Top 5. We got Newsline Extra. We will have story time. Got Top Picks and the preview of WWE Money in the Bank, which goes down live Saturday at the O2 Arena. Full card is now been released. There are no more changes. We know what we're getting. With a week left to go. Tony Khan, take note. But that's it for this week. Stefan, where are you appearing this weekend, or are you not?
I'm not.
You're not appearing?
No, there's no appearances this weekend.
No appearances for Stefan. Sam, shout out the details for PWD.
My next appearance is as it stands, depending on booking, etc. wise, and that may be on the 1st and 2nd of July at the historic dockyard in Chatham, Kent for UKPW. We have the I'm on a Boat show on the 1st and the Summer Jam show on the 2nd. Go to the historic dockyard website for tickets because it's part of the Medway Gaming Festival event.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Check out the details for that on the UKPW site. Sam, throw out the details for PWD.
Pro Wrestle Dorset on Instagram and on Facebook. And then Pro Res, as in PROWRES, Dorset, on Twitter, because Twitter don't like to have a lot of names and a lot of letters. Damn you, Twitter. But it's all over there. We're going to be doing a big announcement come the 4th of July. Yes, that is the 4th of July. There's going to be a big announcement.
Are we
going to come out? Yes, there is. I'll discuss with you a little bit later. But no, it's
that'll
going
be
to be
good to know.
And it's going to be a big one. That's what she said. No, I honestly feel like it's coming along really, really well. Our team, our consortium, as I call us, are creating a pretty damn good show. And who knows, on that announcement could also come another announcement of our first match announced. Who knows? Keep in store. It's going to be all on our socials. It's also Pro Wrestle Dorset on TikTok as well. We're going to be putting some videos out soon.
Well, that's funny that you say it's going to be July 4th because that's a Tuesday.
Oh, it's almost like I may be available to appear to do announcement live.
Is Pro Wrestle Dorset going to be family friendly? Is it a family entertainment show?
Yes, it is. It's a family friendly show.
That's so unfortunate.
But that's only for the first show. We may have some over 18 shows. But
no.
The plan is Pro Wrestle Dorset is going to be a family fun wrestling company. Our first show is a bit earlier in the day because the date it's on 4th of November. In the future, then we'll be going to a bit later in the day. But more information will come out. It's been a pleasure to be on tonight. Thank you for letting me be on.
No, more than welcome. And what Sam doesn't know yet, though, is the commentary team are going to wear blazers with the PWD logo emblazoned on the lapel badge. Old school, right? Old school, dude. There we go. Okay, Stefan sounds like he's having a little bit too much fun, so I'm going to end the show now.
He sounds like a lion ready to pounce.
Sounds like something. I don't think I want to know what. In fairness, that's one lion I wouldn't mind pounding. Pouncing, not pounding.
It's a
right.
show, Andy.
Yeah, it came out wrong. Right, and on that note, I'm going to look after me wife. We'll see you next week. More TS. I said TWS then. More TSC next week, 7:30, maybe 7 o'clock. Who knows? Because we've got a lot to cover. Maybe 7 o'clock live next Tuesday night, right here on YouTube and on audio podcasts on Spotify and Apple, Google, Amazon, Stitcher, TuneIn, Pandora, iHeart, RSS, Anchor, and there's ones that I've missed. But we're all over the world. Very big popularity in Canada. Thanks, Mike. We will see you next week. Until then, I'm Eddie Evans. That's Stephen Bennett. That's Sam Mellows. We will see you next week. TSC out.